Cross these at your peril, young sinners. These are the top 10 scary bridges that you should never cross. And hey, if you know about an evil bridge that belongs on this list, please tell us about it in the comments below. Number 10. Helen's Bridge. Constructed in 1909, Helen's Bridge can be found in Asheville, North Carolina. With trees looming overhead and vines hanging from its edges, this bridge has something of the appearance of an opened mouth. Built to connect the Zealandia Mansion to the rest of Buncombe County, Helen's Bridge is home to a terrifying tale. Supposedly, a woman known as Helen lived in the area along with her daughter. They had a peaceful life, which was tragically shattered as a house fire stole Helen's daughter. Distraught, Helen flung herself from the bridge, marking the place with an essence of despair. Ever since, her spirit has bound itself to the bridge and may appear when called, though I feel compelled to warn you that should you attempt such a summoning, if you then hope to leave the bridge after summoning Helen, she might not let you. Such seances have resulted in novice spirit callers finding that their vehicles won't start, trapping them under Helen's Bridge. Number 9. Old Finch Avenue. Getting local here with this next one. Located within Scarborough, Canada, the Old Finch Avenue Bridge arguably could have been cursed from the start. In 1954, Scarborough was struck by Hurricane Hazel, the most devastating hurricane in Canadian history. Buildings were destroyed alongside key points of infrastructure, which led to the necessity of constructing multiple bridges in their place. Old Finch was one of these, having been built in an astonishing 3 days. However, when a young woman visited the bridge in the evening while celebrating her birthday, she became separated from her friends. When searching for the birthday girl, they only heard her screams. The next day, her body was found in the bridge, mangled and broken with no clear signs as to what could have taken her life. Number 8. Donkey Lady Bridge. Located in San Antonio, Texas, the Donkey Lady Bridge is just about as old as the state itself. Now, one night, a farmer went mad, murdering his family, disfiguring his wife, and burning their farm to the ground. Escaping the inferno, the woman found her way to the bridge and leapt into Elm Creek. Ever since, when folks dare to cross the Donkey Lady Bridge, they can supposedly spot her, hiding in the bushes and watching them intently. If they dare to light a fire, the Donkey Lady will charge them, but otherwise, she's fairly non-aggressive, only seeming to hold a particular disdain for fire. Fun fact, there's a beer named after her, and just like most beers from Texas, it's bad. Number 7. Ponte Sisto. Rome is no stranger to ghosts and ghouls, and there is no place better to spot a specter than Ponte Sisto. A footbridge that crosses the Tiber River, the Ponte Sisto is a bridge that is as ancient as the city itself. Records of the bridge begin in the 4th century, originally named the Roman Pons Aurelius and then retitled to the Ponte Sisto when it was reconstructed in the 15th century. Supposedly, when tourists walk the bridge at night, they might spy the shadow of a particular historical figure, Olympia Maidalcini, who is commonly known as the Woman Pope. Briefly summarizing Maidalcini's history, she was an advisor to Pope Innocent X, but as his health and mental state declined, she ended up becoming the de facto head of the church. When walking Ponte Sisto during sunrise, people have reportedly seen a carriage barreling through the city, carrying Maidalcini to some unknown destination. Number 6. Dunvegan Bridge. Returning to the Great White North, for this creepy tale, we will find ourselves in the town of Spirit River, Alberta. When 2 men in 1960 were driving home on a snowy evening, they were shocked to see a woman traveling alone with bare feet across the bridge. Exiting their car, the men attempted to get her attention, but if she heard them, she gave no sign of doing so. As she disappeared, the men figured they might be able to follow her footprints, but were confronted with the fact that she'd left none to follow. It was then that they figured she must be a ghost, and so they returned on the following night, bringing more friends in an attempt to prove what they'd seen. Eventually, they did see her again, though this time it was near a hill, as she was picking berries in the snow. Number 5. Hell's Bridge. In the 1800s, a small township was struck with a series of disappearances. In response to this, a search party was organized, the most able-bodied of the townsfolk gathering in order to hunt for their missing neighbors. Fearing that more disappearances might occur in their absence, the townspeople placed one Elias Frisk in charge of their weaker members while they searched. Frisk then tied a rope around those members and led them into the woods, brutally taking their lives the same way he'd taken the rest. When the search party returned, they realized what happened and hunted down Frisk, finding him in the woods, surrounded by the bodies of his victims and covered in blood. He claimed that the devil made him do it, and he was thrown off the bridge where he'd committed the gravest of sins, the water carrying away his body for good. Nowadays, the bridge still stands, though people report that even just standing there will cause you to feel tremors of evil through your bones. Number 4. Sant'Angelo Bridge. Originally titled as the Bridge of St. Peter, the Sant'Angelo Bridge is home to one of the oldest and most tragic tales, the tale of Beatrice Cenci. The daughter of Francesco Cenci, Beatrice and her family were subjected to horrific abuse from Francesco, but due to his extreme wealth and influence, it was impossible for them to escape. Beatrice would try to write to the police, her older brother, and to anyone who would listen, but once Francesco discovered this, he locked both Beatrice and her mother into the castle at La Petrella Salto. This is where they would plan their father's assassination, a plan which was ultimately successful. Fortunately, for no one worth 2 tufts of stomach lint, the police decided to suddenly become really good at their jobs and figured out that Beatrice was the mastermind behind the plot. She was taken to Sant'Angelo Bridge and executed in front of her family. Ever since, her ghost has wandered the bridge, carrying her severed head. There's just no justice in the world, is there? Number 3. The Colville Covered Bridge. If you take even one look at this bridge, you'll know for certain that it's cursed to hell and back. Built in 1877, the Colville Covered Bridge looks, feels, and sounds like a death trap to all who enter it. Stories have spread about how an elderly woman was supposedly enjoying her morning stroll when she decided to pass through the bridge. Before she could make it to the other side without warning, she was struck dead by a heart attack. Her age was one thing, but local doctors reported that she was at the peak of health, and there'd been no sense behind it. Another time, a couple of teenagers were driving through the night, speeding on their way to some romantic smooching. When they approached the bridge, it suddenly appeared to shift away from them, and their car launched into the creek below. The phantoms of these victims and more still reside within the Colville Covered Bridge. Number 2. Mang Gui Kiu. Located just 20 minutes out from Hong Kong, Mang Gui Kiu was an extremely popular road, primarily due to its proximity to a beautiful picnic area. However, in 1955, that image would shift. A bus containing a class was traveling to their picnic destination. The sun was shining, birds were chirping, and the day was set to be a beautiful day for a picnic, until the rain started. Hiding under a bridge, the class was in the middle of deciding where they might go next when a rumble came from a hill behind. Turning, they were mortified to see a landslide barreling towards them, and before they could get out of the way, it struck, dragging the class to their doom. 28 students perished, with several survivors clinging to any nearby trees. And years later, ghost sightings would begin in the area. But interestingly, the ghosts don't seem vengeful or angry, they just want to talk with living people once more. Number 1. The 7 Gates of Hell. Technically cheating here, but these are all related, so you can't stop me. A legend local to the town of Collinsville, Illinois, these 7 Gates of Hell are 7 individual bridges, each one a location for a terrible ritual, cult, meeting, or in many cases, just ghosts. Marked 1 to 7, supposedly if one drives through these gates in reverse, reality will tear itself asunder, and a pack of hellhounds will burst forth, ready to drag you straight into the fiery abyss. Or just Jersey. Thanks for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe, and have a good one.